but kind of like a book. If you just look at a cover of a book, you don't know shit. You gotta open that book, that ass. Each person you talk to, if you're opening to judge them or say something or feel some type of way, you have to look at them for past the cover. What's up? Back with episode 2 with JusTyl34. Today I wanted to get to you guys about, I wanted to start off with how we, perceive each other as not physical, you feel me? When you look at somebody, I think when you look at somebody and you think about physical traits more so, if you think about what they look like, what they wear, the things that they have on their person, that'll put a fence between you and that person on what you really know about them. We gotta look at people as in I don't want to say a spirit because a lot of people get lost in that, but kind of like a book. If you just look at a cover of a book, you don't know shit. You gotta open that book, that ass. Each person you talk to, if you're opening to judge them or say something or feel some type of way, you have to look at them for past the cover. With that being said, if you look past the cover, I bet you'd have a lot less problems if you knew how they ticked. And as people, when we start to see how other people tick, we get this groove, this rhythm, and understanding how we tick. I know when I saw how people around me move, I got to sit down with myself and say, okay, I don't like this. And I got to understand that me, myself, I have boundaries. I'm a person that likes certain things and I don't trust certain things. With that being said, I have to look out for my own self. I have to make sure I do the things that give me the best responses and that make me the happiest. And this is just thoughts you'll have when you start to look past the cover, because it'll make you look at yourself that way. Like we always, if you're gonna, we're in a generation where people look outside to figure shit out. So if you're gonna look outside, actually look so you can think about it deeper and then look inside yourself. You feel me? Don't just look at them and be like, oh, that person looks weird, let me not talk to them. And then, no, the whole topic of being weird. That shit's crazy to me. Like, for Bay Area people, what does that shit mean? For someone to be weird or a weirdo? Like, it's used so many different ways that people just be like, people are afraid to be themselves off that, because I believe everybody in this world is a weirdo in some way. I guarantee you there are at least 5 or more things about your daily routine that if you told them everything you did in a day, they would find 5 or more things weird. But no one's vulnerable enough or brave enough to admit that. Like, some shit that I do weird. I fuck with Mariah Carey tough. That's something. Like, Mariah Carey, I don't know why. And people wouldn't be brave enough to admit little shit. Like, we have this whole male standard, the golden standard on how to be a man, to be tough and just tough. But if you weren't weak, would you know strength? Deadass. Like, if you never had a moment of weakness, would you know how to conquer your strengths to look past it? Like, that's another topic I wanted to talk about. Like, the tragedy in the black male culture. Like, as a black male, I'm gonna ask each black male this question. I'm not gonna expect your answer because it's a video. But do you feel comfortable talking about how you feel? If it's a no, that's a problem. That's just a problem. How do you expect to navigate around this life and increase how you feel about yourself without talking about it? Like, that's like putting together a TV with no eyes. It's not gonna happen. Like, you're gonna sit there and it's gonna be like ego. You're gonna have no room to talk but ego at that point. After you get to the point of yourself where you've denied, the only thing that can live inside you is ego, because you've denied yourself the full potential, like what you could really be. And that is somebody who has emotions, that's somebody who don't like certain shit. And that doesn't mean you get aggressive to it, that means you talk about it. I don't like it, I don't want to deal with it. I've been learning this is the hardest one with me as a man. I feel as though if I don't like it, I should be like, fuck it, I don't care about it. But ultimately, as a human being, who you are is who you will be to the person you don't care to be anything about around. If you look at this person and say, okay, this person doesn't matter that much, so I'll treat them bad, that's who you truly are. You just don't want to be it. You're afraid. Dead ass. And I feel like more people need to have this conversation with themselves. Every person you say is an enemy or who you don't like, it's just the person you're going to be most yourself around because you don't care anymore. And we got to change that. We got to be more ourselves like all the time. Like, that shit should be ingrained in you. Most of my shit's going to come back to being about yourself. Because as a person, I feel like that's what we're lacking nowadays. Self. There's a word. I don't know if it's a real word, but I've heard it a couple times, used it a couple times. Self-dom. Self-dom is like just self with D-O-M at the end. Just like, from my own experience, I feel like it's just the ability to navigate and walk through and be self. So like, you can't be dumb about self. You see, it's in the word self-dom. You have to know who you are in order to grow outside of what you are. If you want to grow, if you want to get to new places, you're never going to make a change unless you know exactly what you're changing. Truly. And that starts with you. I feel like that really comes down to who you are. And like me as a man, my biggest, what's the word? Hold-ups and hang-ups in life will be on probably like, I have this problem with trust. If I don't trust you, I act like you don't exist no more. I don't talk. I don't want to be around. But it's not necessarily like that. I could just tell you, or I could not. Whatever makes me happiest. I don't have to walk around my life every day with every person being like, I can't trust you. Just the people who make me feel that way. And that's something we need to learn. When you're learning, you actually have to learn and not go making the same mistakes. Because that's insanity. That's what I think. And literally the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. But we're all a bit insane nowadays. To survive is almost insane. That's why I think everybody's crazy, everybody's weird. And I don't mean that in no bad ways. I mean like, every person on this planet has something about them that is crazy to the normal mind. And with that being said, to be normal is a problem. Like, if everybody was this quote unquote idea of, or this not even an existing idea of normal you think is like around, what would life really be if everybody was just normal and the same? We wouldn't have, I feel like we wouldn't even have music. We wouldn't even have fun. Parties. We'd all be too focused on working. Too focused on making sure this government was still holding us like under their feet. That's what it means to be normal. School taught us that. So with that being said, I'd love to be crazy, weird. I'd love to be outside of whatever ideas people have all the time. I don't want to be afraid to be crazy, weird, awkward, none of that, because that's me, that's human. That's how we are. We all feel nervous, we all feel afraid. We all come down to it, and we have a heart, we have a soul. And the people who don't want to accept that and quote unquote go numb, what do you really to say to that? That's not really the goal. That's not surviving, that's just accepting the standard, accepting where you're at. And I'll be damned if I accept some shit that some white man or whoever set up this country planned it to be. Like, I'm not gonna accept that. I'm me to the fullest. I'm gonna be just Tyler, nothing more, nothing less.